Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is take the tension off the belts, and that will now allow me to hopefully get this drive bolt off into the side. So that is what I want to do next. Right, I had a little look at it, and what I am going to do, because what I think it's going to be best, is undo the two bolts on the split cap there, and undo them and take the caps off. Then I can remove that belt and drop it to the side, remove that belt, drop it to the side, pull that assembly out of the way. That will then let me get the belt off the motor at the bottom, and then I can open the gear panel and start on the spindle assembly. So that's what I'm going to do first, is crack them four off, remove them and take that assembly out. So I'm just going to get a little Allen key just to scrape any contaminant out of the centre of the hole and get rid of that. Just make sure I can get a good seat in on the Allen key. They are full of like belt dust, I guess. So I'm hoping they're not going to be too tight, otherwise I have to go and get my Allen keys to go on my ratchet. Okay, so it's a 5mm Allen key, which is good. Oh no, and they're loose. Oh, that could be one of my problems with the rattling them. As well as the motor. Yeah, they're not tight at all. That is exceptionally surprising. No, I appreciate they don't need to be super tight, but you know, they're not even finger tight. They are just literally sat in there. Okay, so that is literally it. That's the bearing cap. So it's the same as like a main bearing cap or combo bearing cap on an engine. I'm going to lay them down in the order they come up just to make sure. Oh, one's bigger than the other anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so they are on bearings, which is great. Makes life a lot easier. I can have a test of them bearings in a moment, see if there's any play in there. The first thing I need to do is get the belts off out of the way. So that's one belt off. And I have an awful feeling the other one's going to be no, I can't wait. Now it's going to have to come off before I can get it out. So I should have really used a screwdriver, but it does save my fingers. Let's get it in a bit more. It's across. There we go. Oops. So it's not. It's not the best tool for the job, but it's done it. It's not a sharp edge screwdriver, so it's not going to cause any damage to the belt, but we're putting new belts on anyway. Crikey, there's some weight in that. Little bit of play in the bearing, but I can't see that. Ooh, it's got a lock collar on it, so I might be able to nip that up a little bit, which will be good if I can. sit that down in there somewhere safe for now. Some weird geometry going on in there. The lost my piece of tissue. It kind of doesn't pivot in the middle. So I'm guessing that is to allow it, because it pivots offset. I'm guessing that's to allow you the amount of movement necessary to quickly change this drive belt rather than the motor one, because a lot of the transition of speed will be done with this one. So that's that done. Next job is we need to get this cover off and then get the lathe shaft and the main spindle shaft out. The door doesn't open all the way, it actually hits against the electrical control box. So what I'm going to do is undo the 2 mounting bolts for the hinge and take the complete door assembly off. That will allow me better access then to get into the back of the machine. Right, so just got the bolts loosened off now and just removing the bottom hinge bolt. These are again captive screwed into the main casing, which makes the job quite a bit easier. So one out. Okay, so just take the weight of the door now. It might be easier to put these back in afterwards with the Allen key that's installed on the socket extension. I'll just pop this out of the way for now. I'll just put these 2 bolts back in, so once again I clumsy Lisa doesn't lose them. Isolate the machine, now switch the power off, get to the switch, see what we have to do next. Oh. Right, I'm going to grab the airline, I think, and try and remove some of the material that's in there next. Okay, it gets even more fun. Yeah, it's a lot more involved job than I first anticipated it to be. Lots to take off. A lot more involved. But, you know, we can do it. It's not a problem at all. We can do it. Needs doing, so yeah, we'll have to. Right, so I see that the adjustment on here, I'm guessing, is to mesh the gears and get them aligned correctly. So what I'm going to do is take this switch off. I'm going to put some masking tape on here to get the alignment correct again afterwards. I'm going to have to unplug the machine now from the wall because I need to I might even have to try and pull the whole machine out this way now. I need to unscrew that off, I think, to draw the shaft out, I'm guessing, unless it's... Yeah, not 100% sure at the moment. I mean, yeah, it's screwed. It's got a bolt at the top I can see. See that one there. Probably got the same at the bottom somewhere as well. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting video, this one now. You can now see a lot more than what I can physically. I am anticipating that the screw you can see there is going to be one of the ones that holds, and that one there is one of the ones that holds it to the lathe. The one at the back there I can't see anything for, but I do know that the one this side I can see a hole on the back side of it, so I can see the hole there where the bolt goes or screw goes through, so I'm guessing it's the same on the bottom as well. Can't feel anything on the back, but it is very, very rigid, so I'm gonna get a screwdriver and see if I can get them out. What I'm doing now is just using my phone just to try and very awkwardly way up, get onto that to unscrew it. So luckily it is only finger tight. I'm gonna have to put the phone down now just to grab that. The one on the other side has also got to come off. God, this is difficult. Let's move that out of the way. That gives me a little bit more, which is probably all I need. Yeah. Luckily, everything's undoing. Getting these back in will be a lot more of a challenge. A lot more of a challenge. So that is two out, and it now pivots, which is great. So I'm gonna go with this one here somewhere. Yeah, you can see it is it's not ideal, is it? It's far from ideal. So before I take that, okay, that was not meant to happen. So where on earth is that now pivoting from? That bugger there. Oh my Lord. It's been a little bit more difficult than I originally wanted due to the fact I don't have a manual on it. I originally thought there was an Allen key in here where it would allow me to get the shaft out that way, but it turns out I've had to use a punch and knock it through from the back down there. I've loosened the bolt off here just to allow this assembly to all come out afterwards. Ideally what I could do doing is drilling and tapping that to put a slide hammer on it in future, but at the moment I'm just going to work on getting that out. Normally you shouldn't have to move the electric box, the shaft should come out somehow, but because there's no way of me getting a slide hammer on it, it's just making it that I've got to do it this way, unfortunately, at the moment. Okay, so that's getting nice and loose now to the point I can actually pull it out by hand. Okay, so there we go, that is the motor drive belt off. I'm just going to pop that you know what, I don't know if that's already got a thread in that or not. I do aim to try if I can drill that out and get a thread in it so I can pull it out again next time before it all goes back together, but that is one thing now out of the way. Now as you can see from that, when I was saying about some weird geometry going on, how that is off centre to that, so I'm happy with that now. I'm going to just pop the grub screw back in because it only pinches it, it doesn't actually locate into an indent hole or anything like that. So now onwards and upwards. It's turned into a bigger job than anticipated for sure. It certainly is. So I'm just going to leave it on the back out of the way for now. I've got to work out now how that one comes off. Like I say, it's got a grub screw at the back here, and then hopefully that will just come out this way and I can leave all that alone. Hopefully. So that's what we're going to go for next. But before that, I'm going to go and clean my hands because they are black. The collar the other way around, so it's now locked the two gears together, which is holding it enough for me to get the chuck off, which is fabulous. And it is quite heavy. So I need to watch my fingers. Oop, and here comes Pops. Here is crutches. That's my fingers. Okay, next shaft. Wish me luck. So it has got a little grub screw bolt there, which I am gonna take out. Hopefully that'll allow me to pull that shaft out then, which will be fantastic if it does. A bit tighter than the other one. Go, loosen that. So, oh, I didn't get any. Could we get some paper to put it on? Right, okay. That should be part of that. That should be the main boss. Yep, that's fine then. Alright, let's give it a tap and see what moves. So let's move that back out of the way for now. Somewhere safe. Potentially like that. Okay, it is bouncing. That means something else is stuck. No, it's not that. It is moving a little bit. Take rub screw right out. And then oops, moving that way. Is that part of that? No, it's not. So that has to come off. Oh dear, dear, dear. Okay. Meet. It's okay, because that's only that little grub screw. Should be 4mm. Push that down. Loosen that. It just means you have to do a little bit of setting up again later on, which is not a problem. Just pop off of there now, like so. Woo! Oh, it's a spacer, that's fine. Don't really want to be losing that. So move it out of the way. Just take that out, put the spacer back on. Pop that back on there. Save anything going missing, and I'm guessing just quickly pop that bolt out of there too. If my screwdriver fits. Yeah, there we go. Whoops. Save anything getting lost, save anything getting damaged. Give me better visibility as well. I'll probably put it back with a drop of oil on it rather than copper grease, just because of a mess of grease really. So that can fit on there. No, it won't, because I will lose it on there. Let's just pop it on there for now. People will probably shout at me for doing that. So yeah, next is, I say I'll give it a bit of a clean round. Not too sure why what is aligned to what on there at the minute, so I'm just going to mark it up just for reference for myself when I put it back. And then yeah, we'll have a go at getting that shaft out, which yeah, might be fun. Might be fun, so anyway, time for some tape. Probably won't stick now because it's covered in grease, but so I'm just going to pop that on there like so. Give me a reference point, do the same underneath. I'm just going to pop a little bit up the side as well. So it allows me then to reference back to somewhere to try and locate it properly. So I just need some little thin bits now just to pop on there. That's the way I'm going. That didn't stick. Right, that is. It's not going to work brilliantly well, but what I'm going to do is stick with that because it gives me a point there, and it gives me a point on the side to get my height and everything else correct. I don't know how critical this is. I'm hoping by taking this off it's going to release that shaft for me. Whether it will or not, I do not know. Okay, so that's allowing that to move, which has had not the desired effect, to be honest. Okay, right, so that is a cap in this end then by the look of it, which is now even more confusing. Right, so right, the shaft that runs through is actually attached to that, so if okay. So yeah, as I thought, that is for the meshing. Try and get some of the crud off it just so it works through a little bit. Get some oil on that, I think will be the best thing. Okay, so a little bit of WD-40 on that, that's fine. Okay, that's off. Whoa, nearly dropped it. Right, so it went that way. Right, how on earth this all comes out is still beyond me. I have absolutely no idea unless there's a grub screw down in there. And there is, so just try and show you now. Oops. Okay, so down in here there's a little grub screw which holds this onto the shaft it runs through there. So once that's off, hopefully that will move along enough to allow me to twist it out to the side. So let me just see if that will sit there somewhere so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. And it's a little bit tight. Ow, it hurts my fingers. So that has a detent on that to locate that. Now, hopefully, it will push out. That slides on the shaft there, which is great. And we have movement. Oh, that was the yeah, that's the core plug and cap thing come out, which is fine. Leave it on there because I can have a clean up in a bit. Now that's just pushing out, which is fabulous, and we'll just carefully tap that out now. So I'm only tapping it lightly because I don't want to damage the end of the shaft. Ooh, and that's, there we go, fabulous. This is, yeah. Okay, so that's off. Lovely, and the shaft will pull out this way. Okay. Like so. Right, so we have the bush here. It's on an eccentric, as you can see there, to actually get it into the right position. Then that can, yeah, kind of just sit down in here for now, out of the way. Like I say, it all needs a clean up when it goes back in, so that's not a problem. So next thing to do, I guess, is to take the chuck off. Have a bit of a wipe around here because this assembly now has to come off. Probably going to leak some oil, I imagine. So we will just have to pretty much clear that up later on. I don't really have anything to pop underneath it at the moment, but just give that a bit of a clean off as best as I can, just to stop any contamination. So the bearing housing and the seal will come off with the spindle. What I'm going to do now is take these two lock nuts off. One and two. That will allow the gear to hopefully slide off. I'm hoping I can leave that bearing housing on because the shaft's going to slide out that way. So pop them down on there. And that gear should somewhere have a little key, which it does. And so I will extract that. Okay, so that goes that way. The bit of the key for it. I'm just going to give that a little bit of emery cloth just to make sure there's no lips on that, just so it doesn't damage any of the seal when I pull it out. Okay, that's that cleaned up a little bit. So, yeah, like I say, it's going to lose somewhere like this side. We can see in here the grub screw there locks it to the shaft. There is, but if that's a grub screw in there, what on earth that is. So there's what, two grub screws there. There's nothing on this side, which is great. And like I say, I need to just pop something in there to see what that is. See whether that is a grub screw or not. So I'll have a look at that while I remember. Okay, there is definitely something there. Yep, so that has got a grub screw for something or another. I'll be honest, I have no idea what it's actually keying on. Might just be holding a key in place or something like that. I'm not too sure. But it's off anyway, so we won't have that binding up now. But I can't see the length it is. it's going to be actually doing a great deal. I think it just holds the pulley to the main gear assembly. I'm just going to try nipping that back up again because there's a little bit of play in the keyway or something there, and that wasn't very tight to begin with, so if that nips up that little bit of slack, that'll be one less rattle and knock on it. Like I say, everything I'm going to put a little bit of oil on or grease when it goes back together, so that's winding. That is tight, and no, that has not nipped up any of the slack in that, unfortunately. So we need to see whether the keyway's worn or it's just a key, what's going on with that ideally. So because it's winding quite a way, I'm going to take that back out again. Leave it on there so I don't lose it. On the other two groove up screws, that one's loose, that's excellent. Okay, so that's just like a locking collar really. Just to just to stop the actual shaft assembly sliding backwards and forwards on the shaft. Okay, so the next thing is then after, alright, so that one there is keyed. So that's going to have to have a little pry bar or something behind that, I think, just to get that to move, so I'll go and grab a pry bar. I'm now going to undo these four retainers, the four fasteners there. Yes, it's that one. It is going to leak oil, we do know that. I'll just have to basically clean that up at a later date. It's not really a big issue for me. It'll also help clean some of the swarf off of the bed after. So I'm taking this out to allow the bearing housing to allow the bearing to come out with the shaft. And then hopefully with a good couple of taps and a bit of a clean inside first, the whole assembly will slide out and let me put the new belt on. Put some tissue in there just to clean that, because that's what's going to go through that way. So I just need to hopefully tap the back out, and it should take the keyway out from under this gear once I get enough space, and it should all come out okay, hopefully. And there we go, we can just start to now see that bearing housing is just starting to separate, which is what we want. So not the right way. So I'm a little concerned no oil's come out yet. which is a bit bizarre. I thought I'd have been a bit more out by now. There we go, that's the bearing housing loose. There's the bearing, and in here is a big key. Got the bearing housing cover off now, you can see the bearing. I need to remove the keyway down in there, and then I can pull the whole assembly out. Keyway's loose, it's not actually in there tight, so there's the key. There's not really any wear on it, so I'll give it a try in the shaft afterwards and try and see where all my wear is. Okay, so just try to slide stuff off carefully. Be a bit careful with the seals. So take that collar off, and one belt is out.